What's up everyone, I'm Melissa Makak from Room 51 and this is Teach the Teach on the Dice Tower, where I teach you how to teach a board game, and in this video I'll be covering Cat Cafe. Now this is a how to teach video, meaning I'm assuming you already know how to play this game and now you're looking to teach it to other players. There are plenty of ways to teach games. This is just a way that has worked for me and possibly could help you out if you have any sort of difficulties teaching games or Cat Cafe in particular. I always start off with the three main things, first being the story behind this game, where you are trying to attract cats in your little corner of the Cat Cafe. And then I go into the objective, where you have to be the person to score the most points at the end of the game. Then I go into how this game actually ends. And this is cool because you could say, these are our towers, and then you just let them know that once somebody completes 3 of these towers, game is over. And then you'll count up points. From there, you just I like to go into the mechanics of the game of what we're doing. As this is a roll and write, I'll just say that, somebody's going to roll all these dice, and it's a dice drafting game. You're going to pick one die that you want, and one will be left over in the middle, and you'll get to do certain things with that. Now, with that, I say that when you draft your die, you will have 2 choices. You can either pass, which will allow you to gain pause on this sheet, and then I let them know that this will just give you modifiers and that you'll go into that a little bit later. Or you can actually gain some sort of special ability depending on your die that you picked. From there, I go into what each of these abilities are that you can do. And I don't go in the order that they are listed here. I almost go in the order that they're listed here, but I skip the house icon as being the first thing I speak about, because that one I think is the most complicated to describe. It's not that it's a complicated ability, but it's the hardest I find to actually explain to people. So I actually start off with yarn because it's not too difficult to explain. You could just let them know that for each of these towers, you're going to you'll gain 3 points if you have at least the 1 yarn in each of those in that tower. We're going to go one by one, and then you could just let them know if you have majority in that tower, you'll actually gain 8 points, right? And you'll count that for each of these towers. From there, you just go into the butterfly, which, you just let them know about the 3 points that you get for each of the butterflies, but then you can also explain the pause, because you do gain a couple of pause for that butterfly, and then you just let them know how you can actually modify the die that you have there, and how that works, where you could mark it off. Then from there, I go into the bowl. The bowl is good because now you're starting to explain adjacency rules, where things have to be connected. There are some of these spots that won't actually count as adjacent. You can't actually write anything in there. So those are some things that you could explain with the bowl. Then you could just go ahead and explain the the pillow, and that also lets them know that these numbers in here dictate what floor it's on, which is cool. And then you go into the mice and how that works. Straightforward. They should already know now adjacency rules because of the bowl, so the mouse will be pretty easy to explain, I think, at that point. After that, then you could explain how the house works. And now the house I find the most difficult to explain. I don't think that the ability itself is all that difficult to understand, but for whatever reason, I have a hard time explaining it. So hopefully this can help you out, because I think I've cracked the case here, where I just let them know that whenever you're going to use the house, you can score one of these cats, right? And you can only score each cat once. So, and then I give them some sort of examples. I might say something along the lines of, so if I'm going to score for yarn this turn for my house icon, I would count up all the yarn that I have, multiply it by 2, and that's the number I'll score right underneath that yarn cat. So on and so forth for all of them. And then you can even count the house cat if you want at some point. That is also when you start to explain the tower, reaching the top of the tower first, and letting them know that you have to have at least 1 house in that tower in order to score the big number, and just letting them know about the crossing off of the large number if you didn't get in on that. This is also a good point to let them know that pretty much all ties in this game are friendly, which is nice. And it works well with the theme because it's Cat Cafe. It's a chill game. So I like that. At this point, you could just go ahead and roll the dice and then let them know. So you're going to pick one die. One die is going to be left in the middle, and you're going to actually be able to use both those dice then, right? So the central die, everybody's going to use, but then you have your own personal die, and you get to decide which one you want to use in terms of what ability you're going to use, and the other die will determine where you're going to put it on your board. And you could go ahead and explain that in as much detail as you need to make sure the players all understand. But at that point, you're pretty much ready to go, and people are ready to play the game. I'm sure questions will arise, and that's okay, because people might forget a little bit about like, wait, what does this ability do? But hopefully the way you've explained it, they can reference it right there on the sheet. Anyway, that's another Teach the Teach for Cat Cafe. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any sort of questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. Let me know how you teach this game. I would love to know. Anyway, I will catch you next time.